Hello, this is artist Kelly Borsheim, and welcome to my art channel on YouTube. Today we're going to work on the finishing touches of my oil painting on linen called Rise, and I'll be adding some transparent zinc white sun rays to the painting to give it an extra spiritual depth. So let's get started. I've sped up the video to be 2 times the normal speed just because I'm not sure this is a spectator sport, the painting. Alright, so first I want to explain that the oil painting really needs to be fairly dry before you try to glaze anything. This is about glazing a transparent white paint. The paint is called Zinc White. This is from Winsor Newton. It's got a permanence level of AA and series number 1. And I'm using a soft bristle brush because bristle brush, I tend to feel like it grabs more paint and gets me to work faster. And I tend to like bristles in general. But it's a soft one because I'm not trying to add a lot of texture here. In fact, you'll see that glazing for me, the way I'm using it here, is a process of removing a lot. So first I put in the lines. I'm trying to be straight to make, I find the center point of where my sun that I drew in the horizon is, and then I'm wanting to make radial lines from that. You can see though that with the curvature, the way your arm moves in a socket, it tends to have a natural curve to it, which at times can work in your favor. But in this case, I want to get straight lines that keep emanating out from a center point. So you'll see that I make a lot of mistakes as far as putting curves in the line, but later I have to go back in and straighten those out. Okay, so at first I applied everything with the bristle brush. It's a fairly large bristle brush because I'm trying to get some real estate covered here in the on the canvas. But then later I move into the flathead soft bristle brush, soft blending brush, excuse me, and I try to soften everything. Now in the beginning you're going to see that I pretty much try to keep the straight lines by moving the soft brush, the soft blending brush, in the same direction as the ray. Later you'll see that as I'm trying to blend the soft edges, and then I'll go perpendicular to the line to soften everything. And then you'll see later that the other process is to take a paper towel and remove even more. So that's what I'm working on here. Now, the sun is literally behind the owl, and yet I want some of the rays to come in front. One is because I want it to connect the whole painting and have some of that light dispersion going on around it to give a feel for it. But also I want to imply a little bit of the idea that the owl's wing is transparent, his wings, because he's sort of the spirit animal of the man who's lying on the ground underneath making a choice to get up. So the painting is about spiritual awakening, and also when we're feeling kind of at a low point in our life, lie down, relax, breathe deeply, refocus on what it is you want to do, and get up again and connect with the rest of the natural world so that you get your energy and your force back. So that's probably a bigger idea than what the painting is, I don't know, but that's where my thinking has been lately. You'll see 11 pairs of owl eyes in the painting, and I intend for them to be spectators, at least 10 of the owls to be spectators to the 11th owl, which is looking directly at us. So they're spectators, and possibly one interpretation could be that they are other human spirits who have made the transition, the change. I forgot the word I used for this the other day. Anyway, this spiritual awakening. So right now what you're seeing is I'm trying to put a little bit of more of the sun rays in behind, emerging out from underneath the owl, because the sun is technically behind him. I still want some mistiness in his wings, but I'm making that a little more transparent on that. Okay, I want it to be stronger behind him, but also show it. And because also I really like backlighting a lot, so I'm trying to emphasize all of that. But again, I don't want these strong rays of light because the eye is going to go to the strongest point of light. And it was a curious exercise if I could make the brightest point be something that's on the edge of the frame, edge of the composition, and yet not have it take over the entire, leading your eye directly up, because I want the eye to go really to the face of the owl looking at us. But every time I try a painting, I try to do something different that teaches me something. And I know that I'm making a painting to hopefully sell so that I can continue to follow my passions and do my message of what I would like humanity to grow into, or at least appreciate about the natural world. But I know for me, I don't want to do the same thing twice. And even though a lot of things might look similar to the person viewing the art, I know that each piece that I do, I've taught myself something else, or I've experimented in one way or another, and to be soft here. So again, you can see that I'm trying to make straight lines, so I'm using the stick of the paintbrush to measure that, but I'm also look how I do, right? Right here I make a mistake because I did a parallel line to the one I had done before it and not a radial line, meaning that it's got to come from the center point of the sun and radiate out. So the line should be wider as they go further away from the central point, right? So, but when I go into blending and fixing some of this stuff, I take the long paintbrush and I try to make sure that I'm doing a lot of this, correcting a lot of things, because there aren't many processes that I've ever participated in, at least, that I've done everything perfect the first time. So a lot of it is putting something on there so that you can judge it, decide how it looks, how it feels, is it working, is it not working, and then move, and also it's good in life and in painting, stand back, get a fresh look at it, sometimes even walk away from it for a while to really change your perspective. And I've done some curving there again. You see I'm curving away. It's because the arm is on a radius. But anyway, so, and again, I'm smoothing perpendicular wise. Now, I'm getting sidetracked. Stand back, take a look to see if something's working, because it gives you the clear distance, gives you a different feel for how something looks. And I do like to see the difference in how a painting looks from far away versus close up. So what I'm doing is perpendicular. Now, there was a part where I was deciding that I didn't want to put too much transparent glaze over the eyes. However, the eyes, the 10 pair of owl eyes that are in the background are in the background. They're like in the forest or in the whatever the scenery is in the background. It wasn't that important for me to label those things, because you want to make the idea and everything else subordinate if it doesn't support the idea. So I felt like I needed something in the background there, but I needed to support the idea and not overtake the idea. So that's where it is. But I kind of went back and forth on, I want a little bit of glazing over them to also push them back in the distance, but not obscure them, because I want them to be visible even if it's not the first thing you're going to see. I want it to be sort of a surprise. As you keep looking at the painting, then you start noticing those things. So those are some of the thoughts that are in my head while I'm working this. But you'll also see that at some point, probably earlier in the video here, that I was cleaning. There you go, there's the zinc white, but I noticed it didn't focus there. But anyway, so I'm cleaning out the brush, the wing tips of the owl, and being very clear on it. Now, occasionally, because the paint is not, I want it straight out of the tube. I don't want it too wet because it won't give me the effect I want. And it's going to rub away, but also I don't want it too dry, because then it's hard to move the paint. And I want to have it's exactly like working with wax or something. You need the temperature or the dryness to be at exactly the right point, so that it does what you want it to do. You want it to put on and stay on the canvas enough, but you need it to move when you want it to. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this. A little bit on, go to my Patreon and support my YouTube channel if you like this channel. Subscribe and share with your friends. Ciao, ciao for now. Ciao, ciao.